Dershowitz, you know you were a big topic of discussion after you left yesterday and on the Rush Limbaugh show today.
Well, now let the truth come out. You ready for just 5 minutes for me to describe who this guy Barr really is?
You said you had evidence that he was involved with racist groups.
Right. Now let me give you my evidence. Just don't interrupt me for a couple of minutes. He is associated with an organization called the Council of Conservative Citizens. They have recently absorbed the Citizens Council of America, which is an offshoot of the Ku Klux Klan. Speakers that they've invited recently include David Duke. They invited the Lieutenant Governor, Mike Huckabee, but he dropped out when he found out who they were, saying, quote, he would never knowingly share the platform with someone affiliated with white supremacists and anti-Semitic organizations.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want you to clarify. Can you go back one second here?
Yep.
You're saying he is associated with the group, the Council of Conservative Citizens.
Conservative Citizens.
Which is an offshoot.
And they are a racist and anti-Semitic organization, an offshoot of the Klans and the Citizens Council.
What is his association?
No reasonable people are prepared to speak for them. David Duke is. And he was their keynote speaker at their most recent convention.
And when was that?
Not only that, but one of the speakers, who a white supremacist, talked about, quote, the real American way of life, using exactly his phrase. It is a code word, the real American way of life, as it was before James Meredith and Earl Warren. And what he was talking about was segregation forever. Their newspaper, if anybody wants to look it up, is the Citizen Informer. And they have articles which say the following. Western civilization, with all of its might and glory, would never have achieved its greatness without the directing hand of God and the creating genius of the white race. Any effort to destroy the race by a mixture of black blood in an effort to destroy Western civilization itself. They have statements, integration is genocide. Now, I have photographs right in front of me of Thomas Barr with his arm around the president of the organization, his arm around a woman named Frances Bell, national director of the CCC. By the way, the reason for the CCC, it's a softening of the KKK. And these are Thomas Barr's real Americans. And I know that you're a decent man, and your audience are decent. And you ought to know that Barr is an indecent man.
Well, let me ask you this.
A man who associates himself knowingly with racists and anti-Semites. And I have to tell you,
the name of your book,
proud, having exposed him and called him on this, and having realized that his term, real Americans, was a term for white Americans. Go on the website.
Dr. Dershowitz.
The website for Council of Conservative Citizens starts with a call to white Americans.
Okay,
Those are his real Americans.
Dr. Dershowitz, now, before we do anything, the name of your book is Sexual McCarthyism, right?
Yep.
And we talk about the McCarthy era, and we all know what that means, okay?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you what scares me a little bit. And we spoke about this a little bit. I remember that I was driving in one day to work, and I was listening to Rush, and he played an exchange between you and Joe DeGenova.
Right.
On, I believe it was Geraldo's show.
The difference between you and Rush are that Rush Limbaugh would not allow me on
his show. It's Limbaugh, by the way. It's Limbaugh.
Well, he would not allow me on his show to respond to that because he doesn't take calls from anybody except people who agree with him.
I don't know the circumstances. I don't know who you spoke to from his show.
To his producer, and his producer spoke to Rush Limbaugh.
Well,
Rush Limbaugh said he won't have me on the show to respond.
Rush does not do guests on his show, and we do our show differently. And he's the most listened to talk show in America.
Well,
and he's, in my view, the best in America, so he deserves it.
He doesn't listen to contrary views. It's very easy to be a good talk show host if you don't listen to contrary views.
Well, Dr. Dershowitz, Professor Dershowitz, you had your stint in talk radio, and you didn't do as well as he did.
But but wait a second. He put on a show in which he talked about me, and he didn't give me an opportunity to respond.
All right, now, I don't want to.
Me an opportunity.
You're welcome to have it.
Okay.
Right, now, here's my problem.
Right.
Now, he played that piece about Joe DeGenova.
Right.
And the exchange you had with him, and you made a very, very, very serious allegation against Joe DeGenova.
Absolutely true. And
let me finish my question, and Thomas, I'll give you time as I have.
Yeah.
Yesterday on the program, you accused me of lying to my audience.
That's right.
Okay, without any evidence.
Oh, I had evidence. You didn't know. Let's stick to the issue.
Wait a minute. Let me listen. You're going to let me finish my question?
Right. Sure.
Okay. You accused me of lying. I did not lie to you, and I did not lie to my audience.
You told
and
me you had,
sir, and I told you what he said.
And no, you told me that later after you had it in front of you. I then checked on the web.
Well,
it took 2 minutes to get it up on the web.
Let me correct the record, Dr. Dershowitz and Professor Dershowitz. You're wrong.
Well,
I didn't look on the web.
How can you suddenly remember
Professor,
not remembering it earlier?
Professor, I was answering it at the time. I have the tape. If you want, I'll replay the whole exchange. I started to answer it, and you stopped me. You said, what did he say about Barr?
Alice in Wonderland's memory got better as time went on.
You know something, Professor? You're really... You know what it is?
Let's get off that subject.
No, I'm not going to get off it because
personally, and let's get to the subject of Barr. Let's get to Bob Barr.
I'm going to get to Bob Barr.
You admire Bob Barr.
Listen.
Bob Barr is a racist, anti-Semite.
You are so sanctimonious, and you are so self-righteous. You don't let anybody get a word in edgewise, Professor.
You're going to have a
I am telling you
for a half an hour after I get off the thing.
Listen, I'll let you stay on this program. I'll let you stay on as long as you like if you have the guts to do it. You won't come on this show with you. Tell me who you have. Look, you believe me. You have the guts to stay. Then why won't you debate Mark Levin? When you were on with Mark Levin, you backed off that debate.
He's a horse's ass. I just don't enjoy.
He's a horse's ass, and Joe DeGenevieve a horse's ass, and I'm a horse's ass, and Bob Barr's a horse's ass, and you're the only reasonable person in America.
Racist. I would never insult a horse by comparing him to Bob Barr.
Then tell me, Professor, why do you make all these... You talk about sexual McCarthyism. I want to know why you make all these allegations against all these individuals, and I want to know, first of all, why you don't give this man the benefit of the doubt and give him the opportunity to respond before you smear his name and character, Professor. This is your M.O.
Call him right now. Get him on the phone right now.
We already have been trying. We're trying.
Wait a second.
We're trying.
Let me tell you what
We're trying, Professor.
Reading to you from the Citizens Informer. The Council of Conservative Citizens, etc., etc. That evening, the first of the conference panel spoke. U.S. Representative Bob Barr, several other guest speakers, etc. Speakers included, let me tell you about this, at the Clemson event in 1995, David Duke spoke, promised a white revolution in America.
Let me ask you a question, Doc. Professor Dershowitz, let me ask you a question. Do you think he knows that?
Of course he knows
Wait a minute.
that.
What do you mean, of course? How do you know he knows it? Wait a minute. How do you know he knows it?
Let me tell you why he knows it. Because there was a big article in the paper when Lieutenant Governor Mike Huckabee refused to speak.
How do you know he read it? How do you know he's a part of it? How do you know he's a social? And by the way, let me tell you one thing I do, Professor.
Yeah, but you have doubts about everybody who you like. You have no doubts about Clinton. You're certain about people you don't like.
You wrote this book. You wrote this book about sexual McCarthyism, and you sit here sanctimoniously without knowing anything about me. And you accuse me of lying when you don't know the truth. You lied yesterday about that.
Yourself for a second. This is not about you. This is about a congressman of the United States.
You are on a witch hunt. You are the number one Clinton apologist in the country. You're a Clinton sycophant, and you will do anything to suck up to him, and it's a disgrace. Baloney.
Read my book and you'll
baloney.
See
I don't believe that.
I say far more critical things about Clinton than you've ever said.
Listen, Professor, you know what? Let me tell you something, Professor. You go before this.
Bob Barr.
Listen, Professor, you can scream racist all you want, but I'm going to tell you something. I will give him, unlike you with your McCarthyite tactics, you say you're against McCarthyism. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him an opportunity to respond, and I'll give him an opportunity to defend himself. And when he said, well, listen, Professor, I will have you on this program and debate you anytime. Because unlike some other people that go up against you, I can go toe-to-toe with your insults, with your degrading of other human beings, and I can go toe-to-toe with the epithets you throw at people.
What you can't go toe-to-toe with is the facts.
And the facts are, you have not given him a benefit of the doubt.
Wait a minute.
You use ad hominem, gratuitous, personal, mean-spirited attacks. You did it against Joe DeGenevieve, you did it against me, and you did it against Bob Barr, and you're not going to get away with your little game against me on this program like you do on Geraldo, Professor.
Joe DeGenevieve filed an affidavit in court on the Pollard case, which was perjurious. I said that. I stick by it. He refused.
And what did he say? He said he said you're a liar, Professor. He said you're a liar.
But I have the affidavit.
And what you said about me yesterday, Professor, was a lie, Professor. You lied about me, so I know what your lies can do.
Yep. Now, look, you want to talk about yourself. If your fans want to
You called me a liar, Professor, and you were wrong. Why don't you apologize? Are you man enough to apologize?
Absolutely not. Now,
because you don't want to admit the truth?
Now, let's talk
Why don't you apologize for calling me a liar when you were wrong, Professor?
Because I wasn't wrong.
Because you were wrong, Professor. You were wrong, and I told you what he said, and I didn't look it up on the internet, Professor.
Play the tape.
Listen, Professor, you like to insult and shout over anybody, and I'll outshout you any day of the week. It's not going to happen on this program like you get away with it on Geraldo. You're not going to do it.
You know, you can always hang up on somebody.
I'll never hang up on you. I'll go toe-to-toe with you any single day of the week. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll come back. We'll continue this mess. Listen, I'll never hang up on you. I'll go toe-to-toe with you any single day of the week, Professor.
As long as you listen to me talking, you will hear about Bob Barr. Bob Barr willingly became the keynote speaker to an organization which is a successor organization to the Citizens Council and the Klan.
You know something?
Knowing this organization was racist. Let me tell you what he said. What the organization says about Jews.
Can I just tell you something?
You don't want to hear about this.
I'm going to tell you something. You know what? It doesn't surprise me
upset with you for playing ball and going in bed.
Oh, now I'm anti-Semitic. Now I'm anti-Semitic. Let me tell you something, Professor. Listen to this program, and you'll see there's no one more supportive of Israel and my Jewish friends, and I resent the implications, sir. And this is part of your McCarthyite tactics, and it's not. You're not going to get away with the name calling, the racist calling, the race baiting, the anti-Semitic baiting, sir. It's not going to happen.
Give me a chance.
I'll give you a chance.
You about Bob Barr and this organization's anti-Semitism, because you said yesterday you're a friend of his and you like him.
I will give you a chance when we come back. We have to take a break. What do you mean I better? Don't threaten me, Professor. I always stick by my word. Don't be so insulting. You're such a sanctimonious, self-righteous. You know something?
The truth. Give me a chance.
When he said "real America," he was talking about people that sit in their ivory tower that suck up to the president.
And
isn't it not a surprise? Your McCarthy-like tactics, just like your number one president, Clinton,
was used by this organization he's associated with.
We will take a break. I will not be outshouted by Professor Dershowitz. He gets away with it. Everyone else, he's not getting away with it with me. We'll continue. Your call's next on 70. Now, that was yesterday. We're going to fast cue it. I guess we have to go through the spot break on that. Yeah, you got it there? Before we get to the issue that we were at, I want to ask you one question.
Go ahead.
You're so upset about race, and you're so upset about Bob Barr being a racist.
Right, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You worked on the O.J. Simpson case.
Absolutely.
And Robert Shapiro said that Johnny Cochran dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck. I've never heard you publicly state that the tactics and the divisive tactics used by the defense team in the O.J. Simpson case was disgraceful. Why is that?
That's because you never read my book.
Did you say it?
Read my book, Reasonable Doubts? Of course I said it. I was very critical of Johnny Cochran.
Is he a racist?
Anybody who reads my book...
Did you say he's a racist?
What I said is in the book, and you will read it. No,
that's not my question. Did you say he's a racist as quickly as you're willing to condemn Bob Barr without giving him a chance to respond?
Not a racist. Whereas Bob Barr is a racist. Now let's talk about Bob Barr. Let's talk about Bob Barr.
So Johnny Cochran isn't the racist.
No, he's not a racist. He used techniques and tactics in that case, which I thoroughly
so Bob Shapiro was wrong.
And by the way, no, Bob Shapiro would never tell you that he was a racist. Absolutely not.
He dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck.
That's right. That's right. And that's right. And to say that a person who plays the race card when representing a criminal defendant in a case racist is to jump to a conclusion.
And you're upset that he gave supposedly, allegedly, it hasn't been proven, a speech.
Hasn't been proven. I have a photograph right in front of me,
Well, you're a horse's ass, Professor.
I have a photograph.
You know something? You are the most sanctimonious, self-righteous, mean-spirited.
You are telling me it's alleged.
You are a McCarthyite yourself. You know what? You're a bully, and I'm not going to let you pull your bully asinine
tactics
on this. I am not. You know what, Professor? I won't give you that satisfaction. You're a bully. Really?
Tell you what he
and
said.
you're a horse's ass yourself, Professor. You're a sanctimonious Harvard professor that knows nothing. That just like the president. Why don't you hang up? Just like the just like
you let your Jewish audience listen to what Tom?
Oh, listen! Don't play. Now you're going to play the Semitic card. Is that what it is?
Tell you the truth.
Well, the truth is that you're just like the president. You use the McCarthy-like tactics. You destroy, you smear, you destroy character.
And you're not going to.
I am not going to lie like a little twerp like you, a little twerp like you, to call me a horse's ass on this program. Is that you're upset about being called not a real American, and you call everybody else a horse's ass?
Thick skin. Now, do you want to hear?
Just like Bill Clinton, destroy, smear, character assassination. Just like Bill Clinton.
Won't let me talk.
Just like Bill Clinton.
Do you want to let me tell you what Thomas Barr's
Bill Clinton, whose ass
said
you
about
kissed?
Jews? Here, let me tell you what he said. What he said is that Jewish immigrants from Russia and the former Soviet Union should not have been allowed to come into the United States because Jewish immigrants from the Soviet Union were not religious.
Why are you so quick?
They were repressed.
Why are you so quick to use
their religion?
Why don't you ever give anybody the benefit of the doubt? Why do you want to destroy your enemy just like Clinton destroyed Tripp and Goldberg and Jones and anybody else that gets in his way? Why are you using these divisive tactics, Professor Dershowitz?
Anti-Semitism, bigotry of every kind.
And you're not a bigot
to trying to destroy
involved in one of the greatest racial divisive, most racially divisive trials, letting the butcher at Bundy go free. I bet you're proud of yourself, Professor.
You want to talk about that? You can talk about that.
I bet you're proud of that, aren't you, Professor Dershowitz?
Very proud of my role in the case. If you want to read my book, it'll explain my difficulties, my disagreements, the role of defense counsel. I'm talking about a man who you admire.
You know something?
I don't admire O.J. Simpson. You admire
Why'd you help set him free then?
Because I'm a
Why'd you help set him free?
Listen,
unlike you, I got to tell you something. Based on your track record of trying to destroy Joe DeGeneva's character, telling lies about me, and based on your flimsy evidence, and based on your support of a president that uses private investigators to destroy individuals that disagree with an administration, you know what? I take it with a grain of salt coming from a jackass like you, Professor Dershowitz.
Take anything with a grain of salt. I will fax your office everything I've just told you. You will have in front of you photographs.
Did you hire Terry Lensner and Jack Palladino to get it, Professor?
No. Let me tell you how I got it. I got it off the web. It's a newspaper called The Citizen's Informer. It is published by this Ku Klux Klan organization in which Tom Barr was the keynote speaker.
It's Bob Barr. You keep saying Tom. It's Bob Barr.
Anti-Semitic restrictions on Jewish immigration.
Unlike you, Professor.
An organization which supports anti-black policies against integration, an organization which is anti-everything that
unlike you, Professor Dershowitz.
You want to support that
unlike you, Professor Dershowitz.
Unlike
you, Professor Dershowitz. Listen, Professor Dershowitz, I want you to listen very closely because I have a 10-year track record of being against racism and anti-Semitism.
But you're in favor of Barr. But you're in favor of racism
Professor,
and anti-Semitism.
If you just shut your jackass professor mouth for 1 second, I'll explain it to you. Just shut your mouth for a minute. And I'm going to tell you something, Professor.
Right.
Unlike you, who buys into the tactics of character assassination and smear, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'll tell you this, Professor. You worked on a team that dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck, and you don't apologize for it. You told lies about me, and you don't apologize for it. But let me tell you something, Professor. I condemn racism. I condemn racism in any way, any shape, any matter, and any form, Professor. It's Bob Barr, Professor. You have Alzheimer's disease? It's Bob Barr. Bob Barr. B-O-B, not Tom.
Bob Barr admits that he spoke and was the keynote speaker in front of this racist organization.
Professor, I'm telling you, you listen very closely to what I'm saying. Unlike you, who participated in the releasing of a murderer, in my view, the evidence was overwhelming that the murderer got free, and they dealt the race card. They dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck, Professor. You are a part of that team that dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck, Professor.
Quit the case in the middle?
I would like. You're so upset about it. Why don't you condemn it?
I have.
You participated in it. You dealt with it. You're a jackass. And let me tell you something, Professor.
You don't know what you're
a McCarthyite yourself. You're a character assassinator, and unlike you, this is how consistent I am.
Prediction.
I will condemn.
You're going to be off the air. People are.
Oh, you mean I'm going to be a failed talk show host like you?
No.
Sorry, Professor. We're the number one most
talk show host,
and your show got canceled, sir. Why did it get canceled? Why did it get canceled, Dershowitz?
People are going to get sick.
Why did it get canceled, Dershowitz?
You're playing ball with racists.
Why did it get canceled, Dershowitz? Why did your show fail, Dershowitz?
Shouldn't be. It didn't fail. It was a great success.
It failed. It's not on the air, is it?
ABC.
It got canceled.
That's not true.
It got canceled.
That's not true.
No station wanted it. And you know what? I heard your show, and it sucked.
Well,
it was awful.
I'm not going to even talk about your show, but I'm talking about.
And why do you call to be on it? You called us, Professor.
No, you called me yesterday.
No, you called us today to be on the air today. And you start out by calling people names. And you know what? Unlike the Geraldo show, you're not getting away with it, Dershowitz. You're not getting away with it, are you, sir?
No, I'm just showing you up. You're speaking.
Listen,
you're making an utter
I'm going to tell you
fool of
something.
yourself.
Let me tell you something, Professor.
And I'm happy to have you continue to make a fool of yourself.
Let me tell you something, Professor. You listen closely about my stand against
rape. Don't tell me how to listen.
You listen, Professor.
I choose to listen.
Holier than thou from your Harvard ivory tower, unknowing of what real people think, to quote Bob Barr.
Real Americans, right? Yeah, you like the real American quote too. You know,
what are you going to call me a racist, anti-Semitic?
The closer I think you're becoming.
Come on, here it is. Now you're going to call me a racist. Now you're going to call me anti-Semitic. Typical McCarthyite, Terry Lensner, Jack Palladino, smear your enemy tactics.
If Barr turns out to have spoken in front of this organization, are you going to disassociate yourself from him, or are you going to remain his best friend?
Here's my answer, Professor, because unlike you, that participated in a group that dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck, if it is ever proven to me that anybody that I like or agree with participated in any racist activity, I will condemn them and I will condemn the group.
Okay,
because
that's a fair point.
Because I deplore racism, and I listen, Professor. I'm not finished.
And now I want to see you stick to your words.
Listen,
Professor.
Because
I want your listeners to listen to that.
Now I'm putting you on hold because I'm going to finish this. I will condemn racism. I will condemn anti-Semitism any time I see it. Why didn't you condemn it, and why did you let those tactics go on in the O.J. Simpson case?
Now, wait, but you took me off the air for a minute.
That's right. I said I did because I'm finishing my point about that.
But I didn't
my
hear
whole
what you
career.
Said. I didn't hear what you said.
All right, then if you shut your mouth, I'll tell you.
In a show in which you cut me off.
You listen to what I say, and I won't cut you off. Listen to what I'm saying, Professor.
You're equal on this show,
No, you're not equal.
If you're not equal on this show.
Listen, you're not equal.
I will not participate.
You're a low-life professor.
Yeah, right. But you're the one who invited me to be on your TV show. You're the one who called me yesterday.
Listen, I don't care if you ever come back on any show.
You're the one who's called me.
I don't care if you'll ever come back again.
And frankly, I don't care either because you're not going to be on the air for long.
Listen, you want to bet, Professor?
You're not going to be on the air for long.
How much? Let's bet. Let's bet, Professor. How much? No, you said 1 year from now.
In a McDonald's
How much do you want to bet?
It's going to be the end of your career.
How much do you want to bet?
And that's,
I put $50,000, sir.
Yeah.
I'll bet you $50,000
You're not
today.
Have the $50,000
I'll bet you. I have it. Will you bet me?
No,
you coward. You gutless, spineless coward. Put your money where your mouth is.
But
You're a spineless coward, Professor Dershowitz.
I will bet you $1,000 today that you will not have the guts.
$50,000.
Barr after I prove unequivocally to you that everything I said is true.
I'll tell you what.
You're a wimp.
I'll tell you what.
Won't do it.
Unlike you, I'll tell you what. I'll take your bet if you bet me.
How about just taking my bet?
Listen to what I'm saying. Just listen. I'll take your bet, $1,000, that if you can prove to me he's a racist, I'll condemn him.
No, you didn't say that. You said if I could prove to you, let's remember what you said because it's all on tape. You said if I could prove to you that he spoke in front of and associated himself with a group that was racist, you will condemn him and you will condemn the group.
If he spoke in front of a group that you can prove to me is racist, I'll condemn him in the group. I'll take that $1,000 bet if you said on the air.
Let's do one at a time.
Let me finish.
Do one at a time.
Listen,
I'm not really going to bet
Professor,
you, but I just want to tell you that you don't have the guts.
Listen, Professor, let me answer your question.
Yeah.
Let me answer your question.
I don't bet. Yeah.
Just shut up for 30 seconds and let me answer your question.
Well, you're going to cut me off the air.
No, I'm not going to cut you off.
So that's what you did last time. That's a bully
I'm not going to cut. Listen to what I'm saying for 30 seconds. I'll take your bet if you made a prediction. I'm not going to be here in 2 years. I'll bet you $50,000 I'm going to be here.
Bet.
You're a coward. You're the wimp.
But I'll tell
You're a coward. All right, we'll take a break. We'll stop it right there. We got to make a
about what people what you do.
Let me make a. Oh, here it is. Here it is. The McCarthyism. Here it is. Destroy the enemy's character. Here it. Go ahead. Destroy my character,
Professor. You're the one who's been doing that. Hey, look.
You're the one that called me.
Every time you speak, you help destroy your own character. Now you've made a promise. You said you will condemn Tom Barr. If I can prove to you that Tom Barr spoke in front of an organization, I am going to fax
Tom Barr. All right, we'll make the bet about Tom Barr.
Give me your fax number. Within 5 minutes, you will get this fax.
I'll take the bet if you take my bet. You made a prediction.
We're not making a bet.
Oh, you're a chicken. You're a gutless. You're a wimp.
I told you I don't bet. But what we're doing...
All right, that's it. We're not going to play any more of this. We gave you as much as we're going to give you, and we'll get to your calls.
Why did you ask me to bet?
I should have not have said that. I don't bet. What I'm going to do is this. I will apologize to you if you stay on the air. If you agree to apologize to me when I can send you faxes to prove that Tom Barr
if you don't have
in front of a racist
if you don't have the ability to back up your original plan, we'll give it to you off the air. But listen, Professor, I got breaks to take care of here.
Yeah, well, why don't you take care of your breaks? You'll get my fax, and then I really want your public to say, we are going to make this guy stick to his promise, because you will see that Barr has spoken in front of an organization.
When was your show canceled again, Professor?
Out racist organization.
When was your radio show canceled?
It wasn't. You'll see it wasn't. Yeah. ABC threw me off the air. You know why?
Yeah.
For calling your colleague what he was.
What colleague? All right, that's it. Anyway, that's just about the end of it. Anyway, we'll get your calls when we come back. Thanks for being with us. The show.